Alright guys, today we're doing something a bit different. It has been mentioned and requested in the past that a bit of a challenge would be building the worst loadout you can buy in CS2. Now, I do want to do that at some point, but I wanted to shift it a little bit, and today we're going to be looking at the loadout that you never see in-game. At least the majority of people basically never see these items used in-game at all. Before I start diving through this very interesting loadout that maybe someone out there does want to build, a reminder of the giveaway for this week. It is a USP monster mashup in minimal wear. All you have to do to enter is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if your favorite skin from this video has to be included in this video for your chance to be entered and win. Good luck, and let's get through it. Now, you might be able to immediately tell, but we aren't going to have much of a theme here, and my glove suggestion for this is going to be hand wrapped giraffe. I think I've only seen one pro player use this, or one person in my game max, and it was someone at the Paris Major. Someone at the RMR for the Paris Major used these gloves, and I've never seen them since. Which is probably because the pair was so little, but I guess you could do a lot of a brown loadout around them. And then a knife that I don't see often, which it doesn't pair with the gloves, but it's not really that. There's no theme real. It's just picking skins you never see. Safari Mesh has a bit of a cult following, but I just never see anyone using it on a classic knife. Like, I don't see the classic knife often. I don't see the Safari Mesh often because it's such a niche cult for it. So yeah, a classic knife, Safari Mesh. This is my knife pick for it. The gloves are 113 and the knife is 110. The agent was probably a bit more difficult because I don't pay that much attention to the enemy's agents too much. Because I play so many officials at the minute, everyone has to use default agents, so I'm not paying too much attention to it. And then face it, there may be one or two people rocking the same go-to agent. So for this, I've picked Commander May Dead Cold Jameson as my CT agent because I don't think I've ever seen her used in game, and I never see her mentioned in like any of the chats about best agents to pick up. And then one that maybe I have seen but I've just not paid attention to for the T side, I'm going to go with Street Soldier Phoenix. He's just under $6, and I feel like he's kind of in this weird middle ground of there's nothing crazy unique about him except for the overhead mask. But there's like cheaper agents that are better, and obviously there's ones in if you do want to spend like an extra $5, you can get some really cool ones. So I don't think I've seen this dude ever. Now, when it comes to weapon skins, I've picked the Death Rattle for the Glock. This is only 8 cents, but I swear I never see this in game. Maybe you guys see it, but I just never see this used, and I think it's because there's so many better cheap Glock skins. Then on the USP, I have the Pathfinder, and I feel like this one isn't used for a reason because it's not the best skin, and it's over $27 based on the time of planning this. Price is from 9th of August. Yeah, it ain't anything to write home about. It's a bit disappointing for $27. It's probably why no one uses it, but it's a perfect candidate for this sort of loadout. P2000, I don't see many people using at all, and I don't think many people are going to buy one for $20 for this Grassland Leaves. Again, a skin I don't think I have seen once used in any game. So the Deagle is not actually an expensive skin, and it actually kind of pairs with the gloves, but it's the bronze. This is $5.50, factory new. I think because the likes of the Corinthian exist, and a handful of other cheap Deagles under like $2 to $3, this just gets overlooked, and rightly so. I'm pretty confident I've not seen this one used in game. For the AK, it's the Predator. This is $18. It's minimal wear. I think I have maybe seen clips of one person using this, and it had like some old school stickers on it, and they bought it purely for the old school stickers. Overall, this skin is pretty ass, and there's a reason people aren't picking it. Now, for the M4A1S, it's actually one of the cheaper M4A1S options. It's the Fizzy Pop. It's $2. And this one I just don't see in game. I think I've maybe seen one pro player use it. And I don't know. I think for all I remember this skin is that it used to wear really bad in CSGO. To the extent that I was given a super cheap one, like in field testing, and it just looks so odd and pixelated, and maybe that's why people don't use it. Also, we've got an abundance of good cheap M4A1S skins that look better than this. My M4A4 of choice, very similar to the AK in design, is the Faded Zebra. It's $5 minimal wear. I don't think I need to say too much. Then for the op, I have the Snake Camel. Now, this one is something that I probably have seen once or twice in game, but I don't feel like you see it often. Again, it's $115 for this skin in minimal wear. I don't think that's that great. And again, it has that kind of cult following like the Safari Mesh, like the Sand Dune, but most people realize that it's pretty shit. Mac 10, imagine paying $4.30 for this dry season. I don't know anyone that has. The baggage collection has some nice skins, some expensive skins. This one is only the latter. At $14 for the commuter. Again, I think there's a reason that like skins like this you just don't see used in game, because the value for money and the artwork is just not there. For the P250, I picked the Bone Mask. Again, gives me Predator vibes, gives me the Faded Zebra vibes, and overall, just kind of lackluster. The Take 9, I actually think is quite nice, but the pricing on it and how much flair it has is probably the issue. It's the Blast from the Past. It's $14 for minimal wear. So again, if this was a skin that was like $2, $3, I do think more people would use it. But for $14 with all the other good Take 9 skins, again, I think there's a reason it gets overlooked. For the FAMAS, I picked the Contrast Spray. And again, this is another one. I don't think I have to say too much about it. When you're talking like $8.50 for low-res, battered skin, like obviously people are going to pick some other things. And for the Gale, we have one with that horrible net pattern on it. $4 minimal wear, hunting blind. Again, you look at the amount of Gale skins that are fairly cheap, fairly affordable, and then this, there's a reason people are just sort of overlooking these old skins. And we finally have one that's actually quite nice. It's just absurdly expensive for what it is. This is the 5.7 Neon Kimono, $270 in factory new. Now, obviously, if you're a pro player and you've got mad money, or you're just minted and you have a green loadout, this is a good pickup, right? Like, you're not going to use it much, but if money is no object, cool, you got a really sick skin. Everyone else, however, we're not going to spend the $270 for this as a 5.7. Let's be real. Now, some jewelries that I almost used in the Gods and Monsters loadout is the Pyre. These are $26 in minimal wear. Honestly, very similar to what the Gunsmoke pattern was. And I think this is another one of just, like, people buy expensive jewelries, don't get me wrong. People buy Cobra Strikes, buy the Emeralds, that kind of thing. But I feel like when you compare the options, these just fall into a bad value proposition. Don't worry though, we're back to the baggage collection with what is probably worse than what the Mac 10 was, but it's the Traveler, and it's $12.50 for this SG. And ironically, again, this is a skin that, I mean, I would rather have Desert Shamans with it, but the drafts aren't horrible for repairing. It might be one of the few skins I like in this loadout, but it is the AUG Midnight Lily. This is just the, I mean, I think the Hot Rod's more expensive, but this is $310. If people were going to spend money on an AUG, I think they default towards the Hot Rod, but I think this is incredibly nice. Obviously, it's a skin from the St. Mark collection, so the prices are a bit nuts. But yeah, I think I've maybe seen a couple pro players use this, but I have, like, people don't use the AUG too much, but when they are using it in my games, they're not using this. Then our XM that I've thrown away because of how ugly it is the Urban Perforated. Again, this is just, I think this is just the old skin vibes where there's like, obviously they had a base palette like the safety net and that M4 or whatever it was that had that like netting pattern. It's just kind of mediocre, but early skins days, they don't know what it's going to be. They're just making slightly different color skins. I can see why we have these lackluster skins in the game. Now, I could have used this MP7's Gale version. It's my option. It's the Akubin. I think the MP7 actually in CS2 doesn't look as bad as it did in CSGO, but still, it may only be 26 cent in factory new, but the MP7 isn't used that often, and there's a good handful of much better skins that aren't like much more expensive. So, again, I think this one just gets left under the rug because of that. And then finally, the Scout is actually one that I was theory crafting with on stream the other night. It is the Tropical Storm. Now, this is $14 in minimal wear, so price-wise for a Scout, it's not too bad, especially if you use the Scout often. And it's got scope design, which is always my big thing for it. But this in $14, when you've got an Abyss for $1, you can see why people go for the Abyss, really, can't you? But I mean, this is a skin that I think if the colors were just a little bit, a slightly different shade, a slightly bit brighter, this could be really nice. But there we go. We've built the loadout that you never see in CS. The total cost is just over $1,100. The combo is dirt cheap at $223. The main skins are under $200, but because of the AUG and then the 5.7, the bonus skins are almost $700. So, would you guys use this loadout? Probably not. Was it fun to go through and see? Like, just going through and even just picking the skins and being like, okay, like maybe 2 or 3 skins as an option that you don't see often and having to pick one of them was kind of fun for me. So hopefully you've enjoyed just a slightly different video. And please let me know in the comments down below if you want me to build the worst loadout you can buy in CS2. I won't go worst as in like the most expensive and it's just a bit stupid to pay that much. I'll go just flat out the worst skins from each one visually and see how it goes. So let me know about that, and I'm going to end it there. A big thank you to the YouTube members that are supporting the channel. It's the best way to directly support me and the content I'm making. If you want to find out more about it, make sure you hit that join button down below. And this is the last video that I've recorded in advance. So after this, we're going to have prices that are from that week that I'm recording, not from 2 weeks in advance. So hopefully there wasn't too much variance. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.